Welcome to another edition of Ian Cameron's Football Frenzy, and it is another edition, another NFL Super Bowl 60 preview edition of Ian Cameron's Football Frenzy. We've done a few of these shows already this week with various guests, and here we are today breaking it down with Trevor Harris, Davis Alexander. You know them well. They've been on the show multiple times, and we're here to talk Seahawks, Patriots, NFL Super Bowl 60. Although I should point out, a lot of busy times right now in the CFL. A lot of player movement going on as off-season activity picks up. I know I'm happy from a Ticats standpoint. I like that they gave a shot to Trey Ford. I'm happy they brought him in, honestly. He gets to work with Scott Milanovic and Bo Levi Mitchell. We'll see how it goes. Obviously he's a great athletic quarterback, can throw on the run. Obviously, pocket passings and accuracy. Standing in the pocket's probably the biggest area of improvement he needs, but can work with the coaching staff and with Bo probably on that. So I have no issues giving him a shot here and the Ticats signing him. And I know specifically Davis, because we'll be playing him obviously multiple times this year with the Alouettes. Wynton McManus, I'm telling you, man, he's going to be hunting you down next year.
Let's do it.
For my Ticats. That was a great signing, obviously. If he's healthy, he has had some injury issues here the last couple of years, but one of the best linebackers in the CFL when healthy. So nice to see the Ticats sign him. But lots of activity going on in the CFL. Davis, we'll start with you. You're in Arizona right now, from what you told me. Obviously, the golf tournament sounds like you're going to be attending it here. The Wasted Management Open, checking that out. But how's that? I know you're excited about that. How are things going with you?
Yeah, so I just got back from Montreal on Monday. Had a quick hamstring diagnose thing, MRI, dynamic ultrasound, and then some data. Went well. It was freezing. I think it was minus 15 degrees Fahrenheit. Thursday when I got there, and then it warmed up to like 10 degrees. But no, all good. And yeah, back here training, and I'll hit Waste Management. I got probably like 15 friends in town for it, so I'll probably end up going either Friday or Saturday.
All right, so yeah, check out the second or the third round of the event. I got to imagine Sunday it's tough to get in because it's the final round, Super Bowl Sunday. I'm sure there's people that when it comes to Sunday, they make a double header out of it there in Arizona, the golf tournament and then a Super Bowl party,
It's
right
actually
after that.
it's really nice to go on Sunday because it's not as packed. Uh,
Wow.
because Saturday is usually like 700,000 people.
So Saturday's the
Uh,
big day. Wow.
Saturday is the big day. It's almost too crazy. That's
Well,
what
they
I'm
probably feel
debating.
like if we go Sunday, we're going to be drunk before the Super Bowl. We'll miss the Super Bowl. So,
Yeah, and I like if you go Sunday, it's actually like more of the real golf fans because it's really easy to just follow the leader because it's not super packed. So Sunday's actually I went Sunday last year for the Super Bowl, and that was a lot of fun to go actually.
I'll just throw that out there. Scotty Scheffler's a plus 230 favorite to win this. How stupid is that? How crazy good
Yeah,
is that guy and
yeah,
dominant in the world of golf that he's a plus 230 favorite on
right.
the odds board, the futures board for the Waste Management Open? Like they've just got him, all by himself. And I think the next golfer in line on the futures board is like 14-1 or something. Like it's just insane how good Scotty Scheffler is. And obviously, any tournament he's in, he's got a damn good chance to win it if he's on his game, no doubt. But pretty crazy to see a price like that, in the sport of golf.
I
With
think he's won two of the last three too.
Well, yeah, exactly. He's had
Yeah.
tons of success there at that particular course at this particular tournament. So that's also a big part of it as well. Trevor, how are things going with you?
Great. Just plugging away, just training. Hamstrings are feeling good here. I'm not fast enough to pull one, so just getting ready for the season, just training hard, ready to rock.
I've talked about the championship games enough, on this show, the last several that I've done between the last time you were with me and today's show. So I'll just hand it to you guys. Talk about anything that stood out to you about, the Seahawks beating the Rams in the NFC Championship game, and obviously the Patriots. Not easy, even without Bo Nix, but the Patriots getting past the Denver Broncos in that game. Just quickly, point I'll make on each game. I thought Denver had chances. Denver had opportunities, but the offense really struggled. It ended up being Jarrett Stidham had that one great play, and then he had that one turnover in that part of the field. Really ended up kind of hurting as well. And then they could snow and the wind got going in the third quarter and fourth quarter. And at the time, it felt like the team that had the lead when those brutal conditions hit It was just take care of the ball and nurse the thing home to victory. And that's pretty much what New England was able to do. And the Rams-Seahawks game was a great game. We were hoping it would be a great game. We were thinking it would be a great game, and it was. And I'm here to say that it's not even a debate in my mind. It's the best damn game I've ever seen out of Sam Darnold in the NFL. There's no argument for me to be made about that. He was terrific. He actually outdueled Stafford when you look at it. He made the plays. I love that they let him throw deep to Shaheed right away. First drive. We're not putting the freaking handcuffs on this guy. We're letting him air it out. We're letting him get his confidence against this Rams defense. They did that right away, and it felt like that set the tone for Sam Darnold's confidence and the way he played the rest of that game. But Trevor, your thoughts on what we saw a couple weeks ago in those conference championship games?
Yeah, it was kind of disappointing how much the weather affected the AFC Championship game in terms of, total in the game, and nobody could make a field goal. I mean, you had two really good field goal kickers that couldn't hit a field goal, and it just kind of told you what the conditions were like. And obviously Stidham playing there, I thought they had opportunities in the first half to make some hay and get some points. And unfortunately, a quarterback can be as good as you want. They can say how good he's been all year in practice. You can't replicate the game reps. And when you don't have those live reps, those live bullets, a lot of times, when you don't have a single rep during the entire season that goes in there, it's like a first preseason reps. You need to get the cobwebs out, no matter how old or how experienced you are. And so that was disappointing. But the NFC, I hate to be a homer, but man, what tremendous quarterback play on both sides. It was such an entertaining game. And quarterback obviously football is a quarterback-driven sport. And if you have a great quarterback, and they're often teams are really fun to watch, or dominant defenses, you've got them here and there. But that was a fabulous game to watch. I mean, Sam Darnold and Stafford just played absolutely lights out. It was fun to watch.
It was a great game. Davis, I know you're a Bronco fan. It hurt, I'm sure, watching that. I'm sure it hurt once you found out Bo Nix is done for the rest of the season. That's when you realized it hurt, and we're going to be up against it a little bit here. But at the same point in time, here's what I've got to really complain about with Sean Payton in that game. I didn't love the fourth down. Go for it.
I hated it.
I hated it. Take the 3 points, man. Take a field goal. There could be some bad weather coming in, and that was when it was 7-0.
7-0, yeah.
It could have been 10-0 Broncos. Kick the damn field goal. Points could be at a premium in this game. And I'm not saying you win the game if you decide to kick the field goal there, but I'm saying you make it 10-0, put a little more pressure on New England early in that game. Instead, you don't kick the field goal. You don't get it. You turn it over on downs. It stays 7-0, and it felt like that was a big early momentum shift for New England. I get it. It's fourth down. It's all the rage now. Go for it. Analytics. Eschew the field goal with where you're at on the field in the red zone, and go and try to get the points. And even if you don't get it, they're inside their own 20. I get all that, but in the situation you're in with a backup quarterback, knowing New England's offense has had a tough time moving it at times here in the playoffs with me. Kick the field goal, Sean. Kick it. And he didn't. I didn't like that.
Yeah, I said I was sitting there with a bunch of my friends. And as soon as it got to like 4th and 1, I was like, oh, we got to go for it. And then 2 seconds later, I'm like, what the hell am I talking about? We need to you need to take the points. I think
if Bo's in there, it's the right call to go for it, but not in that situation. Yep.
But it's like, even, with Drake May and that offense and that offensive line, like, make Drake May go to Denver and beat you. He goes down 2 possessions early, and I think at that point they had done I think the second drive they had 1 first down. But at that point they were, I think they had 11 yards in the first quarter. Apply the pressure to the young guy. I think he's spectacular, but I don't think that, necessarily his team around him, for him being on a rookie contract, I think they could be a lot better, right? His O-line's getting destroyed. Poor guy. He's having to run for 70 yards for them to compete. Diggs is his best option, I guess, or Booty maybe, obviously a little bit of Hunter Henry, but I just think in that situation, you got to let the young gun beat you, right? Tip the cap if he beats you, but you're supposed to hang your hat on the defense, especially with the backup quarterback. And then to Trevor's point, I saw the game the exact same way. It looked like Stidham, he threw the post route, but I think, Trevor, you could probably say the same. To me, it looked like he just dropped back, took a 5-step drop, and he was throwing that post no matter what.
It looked like Sean told him, throw the post here.
Yeah, exactly. He made that throw. I think he might have made like one or two other, decent throws, but like even on plays where it seemed like there was nothing there, and he's sitting in the pocket for 3-4 seconds. I'm like, you got to get rid of the ball, like throw the ball away. The play's dead. You're playing to live for the next down. Your defense is unstoppable right now. The only way you can mess this game up is if you do it yourself as a quarterback. And he got lucky a couple times. Like he was scrambling for like seriously 7 or 8 seconds, and guys are almost there, and he started to get rid of it. And then obviously you see in the second quarter, same play. He had so many opportunities to throw that ball away, and then he ends up trying to like basketball chest pass it. Like I couldn't believe it. Obviously that's a huge momentum killer. You get the field goal blocked on the 46-yard attempt by Will Lutz. You can't control that. That's football. It's destiny sometimes. But yeah, that was a little heartbreaking, especially what did Drake May end up throwing for 80 yards or 76 yards or something like
Yeah,
that.
he really lit it up, Drake May. 86 yards, 10 for 21 in the game.
Yeah, I know. I mean, he got what 34 on that flea flicker, right?
And
So
he's the winning quarterback. Yep.
yeah. But
I'll tell you
yeah,
what,
so
man,
I
the
was
Drake May hate is pretty loud, huh? Like just in
No,
general, no,
no.
not from you, not from you. I'm just saying, just in general, like I have buddies, group chats, quarterback group chats. Everybody's hard on Drake May. Just
When
in
he's had
general, I think
awesome
it's
games
because
during
of
the regular
Patriots.
season. Let's not forget that.
Yeah, and I'm
Yeah.
not saying Dave's
Yep.
hating on him. He's not
Yeah.
because he didn't do anything crazy. But
Yeah.
everybody's like just piling on him.
Yep.
I think it's just a Patriots thing, right?
It's gotta be, but I don't get it because like he doesn't have any help. This team is Drake May,
Yeah.
right? Like besides the defense is pretty good.
I
The
made the
defense is pretty
argument,
good.
might be controversial here. Everybody talks about how Josh Allen has no help. Does Drake May have a similar supporting cast?
I would say
Does he
Drake
not?
May has a. I would
This
say
year
Drake
it's
May has a
comparable.
worse. I would say Drake May's help
Buffalo's
is
O-line's
worse.
better and Buffalo's run game's better, right?
Yeah, totally.
James Cook led the NFL, and Buffalo, run pass block. They're highly regarded.
Yeah,
And so I think
yeah.
Drake May might have a less supporting
I
cast.
totally agree. I mean, Khalil
but-
Shakir is pretty good. He's a pretty good, like, where he's going to be. He's going to get you 15. He's going to get you. Maybe you're missing the big play capability, but
For sure. Josh Allen doesn't have a 1, but the thing I'll say is Drake May has played against 3 of the top 5 defenses in the NFL in this playoff run.
yeah,
And this is going to be
Absolutely.
4 of the top 6. Now they play in the Super Bowls. You're playing against 4 of the top 6 defenses. Well, that tells you the defense wins championships. Defense is going to get you to the playoffs, but pretty impressive run of defenses he's had to play against.
no, he's a stud. If anyone is hating on Drake May, they're
a
not
good
the
player.
smartest.
Like he's also faced, you're right. That's a tough strength of schedule in the playoffs of defenses. Chargers defense is pretty good. Texans defense is excellent. I was shitting on the Bronco defense a little bit the last time we talked, saying how Buffalo ripped them and Jacksonville ripped them and Green Bay. Those are teams that had success, but still a solid enough defense still. And so he's had to
Top
face some
5,
good
yeah.
teams on that side of the ball.
Yeah,
There's no question. And he's going to face another as a great segue here to Super Bowl 60. Seattle Seahawks and New England Patriots. Let me just make sure there's been no major moves. There hasn't been. It's still pretty much Seattle, 4.5-point favorite, 45 the total. Santa Clara, California, Levi's Stadium there, home of the 49ers. Weather won't be an issue. That's the good thing. There won't be a Denver repeat here in this game from a weather standpoint. It's going to be perfect. Good temperature, no wind, no precipitation. So good conditions for the Super Bowl here on Sunday. Talked about this game on the shows earlier this week, so I'm just going to be brief and just reiterate that I'm on Seattle to win the football game. This is one of these rare instances where I laid the number with the money line, minus 220. I didn't want any part of the minus 4.5 here because I respect Mike Vrabel. I respect the Patriots enough to be competitive, and especially their defense enough to be competitive here in this game. But at the end of the day, Seattle to me, tough. Seattle comes from a division that had the Rams, Niners, and this Seahawks team all go to the playoffs. 3 teams from one division. They played in a tough division. It's hard to ignore. I know the strength of schedule narrative is wild, and people are using it as a way to bash the Patriots. I get that. But it is true. I mean, Seattle has faced a really tough schedule to get to this point, much tougher than the New England Patriots. Even if New England's gone through, Chargers, Patriots, pretty good defense, Broncos here in the playoffs. So I just think Seattle is going to find a way to win this football game. I think special teams here in this game, you look at what Seattle can do, a game breaker like Shaheed who can return kicks for them. They've been pretty good on kick coverage as well. I'm not saying Andy Borregales has been a great kicker for the New England Patriots, but, he's a guy in the Super Bowl for the first time. Pressure hit him maybe a little bit more than, say, a guy like Jason Myers on the other side for the Seattle Seahawks, who's been around a very, very long time. Mike Macdonald's done an excellent job. Vrabel goes without saying, but I think Mike Macdonald deserves a lot of praise for what he's been able to do with this Seattle Seahawks team. So I just think they will find a way to win this game. The total's interesting. I may look at a live over. I have a feeling this could start a little slow, with just the stakes involved. You have two defensive-minded head coaches. That is really something to take into account here. Both of these head coaches apply their trade on the defensive side of the football, Mike Vrabel and Mike Macdonald. That's why I think it might be more likely that we have a cautious start to this game. So when I get to the props here in a second half's higher scoring than the first half. It is a prop that I usually bet most years in the Super Bowl. I think that makes a lot of sense here, that we could see more points be after halftime in this game as opposed to the first half. Some of the player props that stand out, I'll give you the four that I've mentioned pretty much already that I love. I really love Kenneth Walker over 19 and a half receiving yards. This is probably one of my favorite props of the entire game because of the fact that with Ken Walker, we saw it against the Rams, Darnold dumping the ball off to him, using him in the screen game, in the receiving game, and then you factor in the strength of this, both of these teams against the run. They're excellent. Seattle's great against the run. They can stop it. New England hasn't given up 40 yards rushing to a single running back in the playoffs so far. We know they can stop the run. And really, Milton Williams, you can trace it right back to him returning from injury for New England. Once they got him back on the defensive line, that's when this run defense just turned into this stout unit that just does not give up much in between the tackles and on the ground. So that means Kenneth Walker might not find it to be easy sledding running the football. So you still got to try to get him the ball some way. And I think throwing the ball to him is the way they do it. And we already saw signs of that in the NFC Championship against the Rams. So really do like Kenneth Walker over 19 and a half receiving yards. I don't mind tight ends making an impact in this game just because you do have two teams that are below average defending tight ends for the entirety of the season, both Seattle and New England. So A.J. Barner, whether it's receptions and receiving yards for Seattle. I think Hunter Henry, after being quiet in the Denver game, he really wasn't involved much in the passing game. But then again, the quarterback at 86 passing yards, not many people were involved in the passing game with numbers like that. But I think this is a game where Hunter Henry's more involved. Seattle has had issues with tight ends. We've seen it throughout the course of the season. And I think Hunter Henry, whether it's receptions or receiving yards, it's a good look here in this game for him to have an impact as well. And I think because of what I just mentioned, you guys, and we'll see if you agree with me here, because I think both these teams are great against the run, it's not going to be easy for Kenneth Walker to run the football for Seattle. It's not going to be easy for the two backs for New England, Travion Henderson and Ramondre Stevenson, because Seattle's number one in the NFL for the entirety of the season in yards per rush allowed defensively, like 3.8. That's spectacular. 3.8 yards per carry is an excellent average for yards per rush allowed. It just might force Sam Darnold and Drake May to have to put the ball through the air a little bit more than people expect. And when you look at the passing yard numbers for both of these guys, like we're not asking them to throw 250 or 300 or 350 with where their prop is listed at. Like Drake May's passing yard number is 213 and a half. If they can't run the football, or have consistent struggles down running the football, eventually May's going to have to throw the ball more. And to the point where you could see him getting over a number that low, over 213 and a half passing yards. And Sam Darnold's passing yardage number is 225 and a half. I think he can get over that number. Hell, we saw what he did against the Rams secondary. And other than Gonzalez, and Gonzalez is excellent for the Patriots, you're more than likely going to do a little bit more damage right now because of Milton Williams' presence on the D-line. You're going to have a little bit more success, I think, through the air against this Pats defense as opposed to on the ground. So with where the numbers are at, 213 and a half for Drake May, 225 and a half for Sam Darnold, I think those passing yardage prop numbers are low enough with both quarterbacks that they can go over those numbers. So those are just some of the props, the main props that I've really targeted and liked quite a bit here for this game. Trev, we'll start with you. Your thoughts, Super Bowl 60.
The prop that I kind of like, because I'm kind of just like a film nut. I watched quite a bit of Seattle, and I try and watch some of the good defenses across the league and good offenses. So I've watched a lot of Rams. Even Stafford kind of had some lanes to scramble and run. So my prop bet I would look for is Drake May rushing yards, just because they do a tremendous job shutting off in the pass game and tremendous job obviously in the run game. And Drake May has the ability to use his legs. Now, will they spy him? Sure, but Drake May is going to find a way to get shake free and run it a little bit. And in terms of what they'll produce offensively, I'm not sure, but I know that, in big games like this, you're willing to run the ball a little bit more if you have to, and if you need to. And the way their offense is structured, you kind of feel like they do a little bit of the split field reads. They'll do some West Coast type of stuff, but if he doesn't see something he likes, he's going to have the ability to use his legs and run a little bit.
I want to point out at 37.5. 37.5 is what we're looking at with Drake May's rushing yards prop here for this game.
Pretty high for a quarterback.
That is.
They might be
That's
on the
not
same
bad,
page.
though. That's not bad, though, because I think what he rushed for 70 versus Denver, and then versus
65
Chargers, I think
against
he
Denver.
rushed for 60-something.
Yeah. It's still achievable. I agree.
Yeah,
I know some real
sure.
sharp people, like people I respect in my industry here, good colleagues of mine that also have done pretty well with NFL. They really love under 37.5 for him. So
See, that's what I was thinking, because I think they should go in with the mentality, hey, you got to beat us with your arm, because I don't think you have the weapons around you to do that. Not with our secondary.
yeah.
That's just if I was their freaking head coach.
No, for sure. Yeah, they've got to be able to do that, because he does like to run it a little bit, and you'd think that they know what New England's going to do. So
Yeah, and to your point, I mean, he is so talented in the run game. Like you can't even call it sneaky athletic anymore, baby. He's up there. He's got the Josh Allen to him. So you gotta come correct with Drake May.
Yeah, regarding the tight end props, by the way, Parkinson for the Rams, tight end, of course, had 62 receiving yards against the Seahawks. So, like I said, that's makes that Hunter Henry, I think, look, like I said, for me, more. I think he'll be involved here when it comes to this game. But it's interesting because, Davis, you say they don't have the weapons.
Mm-hmm.
It's a debate, right? Do you think the Seattle secondary was a victim of just a great offense, Sean McVay's scheme, great receivers? Because let's be honest, that secondary that you're just pumping up their tires just now, they got torched by the Rams there.
Yeah.
Even though they won that game, Stafford threw for what? 360, 374, 3 touchdowns,
Totally.
no interceptions. Now, look, those are great receivers, very good quarterback, excellent scheme, unbelievable offensive mind, as we know in Sean McVay. Now this is a New England team with limited weapons, and with all due respect to Drake May, probably not, the vertical passer, maybe, or that Stafford has been in his career. So it's like that debate. Was Seattle's secondary exposed last week in the NFC Championship against the Rams? Are they a little bit overrated? Or is that, no, you tip your cap to just a phenomenal Rams offense, and now you're facing a much more limited passing attack here with New England?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's way more of a tip your cap to Matt Stafford, Sean McVay, and Puka and Devontae, because there were a couple balls that Matt Stafford, like, he layered to Colby Parkinson, like I would call it like a 2.5 ball, honestly.
Puka had 165 of those 374 passing yards. Puka received 165 of them. Crazy.
Yeah, no, I mean, Puka's obviously, I think Puka's probably top 2, top 3 in the league, receiver wise, with Jamar and JSN. But yeah, but again, I mean, if we're being honest, like, Matt Stafford was probably playing the best ball out of quarterback of anyone in the league. Plus, with Sean McVay, and you get Devontae Adams back, he was routing dudes. He was, back in his element. And if you don't have the stupid Tariq Woolen, probably you shouldn't call that in a game like that. First of all, if you're a referee, unless he said something that we don't know and it never got leaked.
That's a Davis Alexander type of taunt right there.
God, not even. I mean, come on. You can't call that. Not in that situation. Then the next play, you get double moved by Puka. I don't know. But I'm the biggest Matt Stafford fan. I wanted the Rams to win so bad. But shoot, when it was time, defense stood tall, stood on their head. Fourth and goal. Um, I think Rams had full momentum at that point. I think everybody thought there was no doubt that Matt Stafford was going to punch it in. And by the way, I hate the second down play call. Kyron Williams run up the middle for 1 yard. I hate when you have Matt Stafford and Devontae Adams and Puka and the route combinations they can come up with, and just how precise Matt Stafford and Devontae Adams are in the red zone. I think you literally throw the ball 4 times.
Yeah, to get you in. I know what he was thinking. If we run and if we can even pick up a few yards, we can get it to third and eventually fourth and manageable, and then go for it. But you're right. It's just when you don't pick up anything on that play call that you mentioned, boy, it changed the entire complexion of that particular drive. It really did.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Did it stand out to you guys how much man coverage Seattle played in the NFC title game?
Yes.
But I think at the beginning of the game they were doing a really good job jamming and hemming them up at the line, and I think that gave them confidence. And then they ended up roasting them. But sorry, go ahead.
No, I thought they basically just got to 7-man pro play action game, and so they bought time for their second level interior stuff. They helped with the front level, tried to influence their second level defenders, and they were able to kind of get time to shoot it over the middle and over the top on them. And McVay doesn't really deviate too much from his system. I mean, it's never really complex, insane concepts. It's typically camp install stuff. He just finds different ways to do it. And so he hides it really, really well. And they just do a phenomenal job of it. And I'm sitting here watching the last drive over here on my iPad. And here's the second four where they ran the ball, where everybody was kind of just like, you got Stafford and Puka and Devontae. And, they got tight ends that were doing really well, and they ran the ball. But they obviously knew they had 2 more downs.
Yeah.
There you go, right there on the Ian Cameron's Football Frenzy show. You see it right in front of you here. Trevor Harris preparing for that next gig after playing coaching or television.
Yeah, no. But for me personally in this game, I'm taking the Seahawks. There's just I don't see a way where they lose this football game. But for best bet for me, I'm probably teasing it with the Seahawks, get them to 1.5 plus 1.5, and then I'll go under 51.
This is one where I could see the full game being under. I do, and
Yeah.
I bet 99% overs. But like I said, I'm more interested in the live over than anything here. That starts slow, and then maybe we get the points later in the game. 45. It could drop more too. This total's already gone down a little bit. It opened at I believe 47 is what we looked at here with the total initially. 46.5. Actually, it hasn't dropped too much, just a point. 45.5, but some books have moved down to 45 as well. So there has been a point to a 1.5 move down in the total. And I think part of that is, here's the thing too with the Drake May prop. I mentioned the over passing yards. I know 86 yards, it's going to look like, well, he got 86 yards last week. How the hell is he going to get over 213.5 passing yards, 213.5? Well, different matchup. I just think it's going to be difficult to run the football. And if you're going to just have consistent issues and struggling to get the run game going eventually, you're going to have to try to. You could always go pass attempts. If you don't feel confident, in Drake May completing passes against the Seattle Seahawks secondary, that's another way to go about it. That if you believe that both teams are going to have a real tough time running the ball and they're going to have to throw it more, but you're not totally convinced Drake May is going to be able to hit those deep balls. He's not going to be able to complete the volume of passes needed to get over his passing yards prop. You could pivot and take over pass attempts instead. It's just a way to go about it, be a little bit safer if you're worried about those passes getting completed. But again, the number's so low. There's also, with Drake May's passing yards prop in particular, it's reasonable to expect that it's his team trailing in the fourth quarter of this football game. And if that is indeed the case, guess what? I'd have to start throwing it more, taking some more chances. And that's going to give you more opportunity to get to a number like that.
I will say, if you watch Seattle throughout the season, there's never really a time where quarterbacks get a bunch of yab yards. And yab yards, something I say, yards after beatdown. You don't see those quarterbacks just racking them up. They continue playing defense, man. And they do a phenomenal job of continuing to pressure you with their defensive line, even through rushing 4 and 5. They just do a phenomenal job of pushing the pocket and condensing the pocket and making it difficult, making you make phone booth type throws. And I don't think it's a situation where I think if they get down, I think Seattle just will continue to bury them. I don't think they're like the only thing I can't see happening in the Super Bowl is New England running away with this. I don't see New England running away with this. I could see it being a tight game either way, and I could see Seattle blowing them out.
I'm with you 100%. It's either a tight game both ways, either way. New England in a close game, Seattle in a close game. But if someone's going to pull away and gain separation, I think it's Seattle. It would not be New England. Totally agree with that.
And I don't think we're going to see like 28-3 and New England catch up. Like that's not how Seattle will bury you. And you saw it against San Francisco. You saw it against they shut somebody out. I think it was Minnesota. Yeah. They've run away with a lot of games, and you don't see their defense ever let off the gas ever.
Might see a 2014 Super Bowl 43-8, Seattle over the Broncos, baby.
Exactly.
Nice little history lesson there from David.
That game made me so sad because Peyton Manning's my favorite athlete of all time, and him and Kobe. But man, it was tough, man. I wanted Peyton to get that second Super Bowl. He ended up getting it, but he ended up getting like the group project one where he didn't really do a bunch.
No doubt, baby.
Yeah.
No doubt. He deserved it, though.
He did. If anybody deserves it, it was Peyton.
Totally.
What about Jackson Smith and Jigba, JSN? By the way, pop
right?
up there, how many times is the JSN, that acronym, said or announced by Mike Tirico and Chris Collinsworth? That's one of the props. Over 2. So 2 is a push, 3 is a win. I think it goes over that, quite honestly.
Way over.
Yeah, that's what Gabe Parenti, my buddy that I do shows with every week, the Sports Rage podcast, said. Same thing. It goes over that number easily. JSN. All you got to do is one of the either Mike Tirico or Chris Collinsworth on the broadcast have to say it more than 2 times. JSN.
It's going over.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so too. And I'm not a big, novelty prop person. I don't do the Gatorade props. I don't do the Anthem props. I don't do the coin toss props. None of that BS most of the time. But even that one, I'm like, hell, that actually sounds like something that's worth betting.
Free money.
JSN over 2 mentions of JSN during the game. One thing I want to point out too, Mac Hollins, okay? He missed the Charger game and he missed the Texans game for New England in the playoffs. Came back against Denver in the AFC Championship game, and suddenly I think he led them in that game in receiving yards. If I'm just looking at it. Hollins he only had 2 receptions, but one of them was a 31-yard catch, and he had 51 receiving yards for the game. So this is a little maybe back in the lineup. Maybe someone Drake May trusts here. So if I'm going to look at a receiver, you could have your Diggs props. You could have your Douglas props. You could have your Kayshon Boutte props. I think there might be value with Hollins just based on that. 1 game back, and he's got the most receiving yards on the team. Clearly some trust between him and Drake May. So Mac Hollins for New England. I haven't bet it yet, but it's on the radar.
What's JSN's props?
93 receiving yards, I think.
Yeah, not cheap. But obviously, look, after the game he had against the Rams, you're not going to get, and you guys, I give credit to you guys. I think it was Trevor specifically. All the credit to him. He said JSN over receptions, no problem.
Yeah.
What's his over in receptions here in this one?
7.5.
I'd still take the over. The way they use him. You guys want to watch a clip?
It's still 6.5. It's juiced.
Oh, you got 6.5.
Yep.
You guys want to watch a clip of how they use him?
Go ahead.
Let's see it.
Coach Harris. Let's roll
here. How do I flip this around? Maybe. Oh, there we go. All right, so you guys see Jackson Smith and Jigba is right here.
Yep.
Well, they bring him in motion, and they keep him in the backfield really, really well. And obviously, they've got him there. And if you watch, what they do is they capture the outside corner route by Rashid Shaheed going wide and capturing that outside corner. If he inside releases too much, so you see how he goes and steps on his toes and captures him. Then they take Cooper Kupp, and he runs right at the feet and gets on the grass of this outside defender, captures him, and now there's no one there for like the old school, what they call sail route. Maybe Davis knows it as tuba.
Yeah, that's the old clear space type of,
And then so they're just running him on a capture return, so that way if he lifts, they've got that plug area there. And then they just cleared out and just let Jackson Smith and Jigba just push up there and then just roll to it.
Yeah, that was unbelievable.
That's phenomenal play design. It's
really good.
Raider fans hoping Clint Kubiak's going to bring some of that now to the
and they started him here, and they got information by understanding. Okay, they're in zone coverage. We're not in man,
If they're in man, they likely would have alerted it. You'll see quarterbacks tap their helmet a lot, and they do a lot of man zone alerts. And so they're motioning him across. You know it's zone coverage now. So they're staying in it because this flood concept they run is a zone beater. And so now just Rashid Shaheed, go capture him, run through his inside shoulder, and just clear room for Jackson or for JSN to go take this. And it's just a beautifully run play. Sorry about that.
Yeah, look at that.
Boom.
That was
That's it.
unbelievable.
And 10 receptions against the Rams for 153 receiving yards in that game. So, yeah, obviously there's not much the Rams defense was able to do to contain him and keep him under wraps. And I'm seeing in the now in the now here's the thing. The San Francisco 41-6 win, that turned into a blowout. And in that game, Smith and Jigba has 3 receptions for 19 yards. That's a totally different situation. That turned into a blowout. You know, that's totally different. You know, you didn't have to really feed the ball to him nearly as much when you're playing with such a huge lead and you're running the football most of the second half with a huge lead. That's part of it as well. So you got to take that result with a grain of salt. But the bottom line, Trevor, is it sounds like the scheme to get the ball to JSN is just so damn good that even though all I've heard this week is, this matchup's going to be tougher now for JSN. Christian Gonzalez is no joke. He's a tremendous corner. At the end of the day, this could be just, you know what? This Seattle offense is good enough he's good enough to get open, and they're good enough to scheme him open. And whether it's Gonzalez, you could put any great corner you could think of, JSN will find a way to get his, referring to you, Trevor, still liking that over receptions here.
JSN and Kenneth Walker are the 2 people they're going to lean into. I think it's that simple.
Yeah, it is 6.5. I'm seeing 6.5 minus 145, minus 150. Some have 7.5 at plus money. So it depends. Do you want to lay the price to get the 6.5, or do you want to take a shot that he gets to 8 and take over 7.5 at a plus price? That's the decision, pretty much there. But yeah, I won't be betting it under with that guy. That is for sure. He's been that important to the Seattle offense for sure. Like I said, Shaheed, I do like his, just like he last week he cashed it with just the 1 reception against the Rams in that game. I'm just looking at it now. Yeah, Rashid Shaheed had 1 reception for 51 yards, and that was all he needed though. 1 catch, a big play. It was early in the game to get over that number, and his receiving yards number here is 20.5, 21.5. I think I got to look in that direction. I think he's just too talented a player, too much speed, too much game-breaking ability not to have him involved. So I think at 20.5, 21.5, Rashid Shaheed, the receiving yards prop is just, it's calling my name, guys. I think it is, yeah.
About Jake Bobo, 5 yards for plus 220.
Jake Bobo. I mean, Jake Bobo, look
there's
at
some value.
That's some big catches these last couple games.
There's some value there. Come on, you need 1 catch from Bobo for 5 yards for plus 220.
wow.
Here's a fun one. What are the odds on more than 2 players throwing a pass?
You could probably find that somewhere.
Do you
But
think
the
this is a
only
game
thing you
that
got to
could
be
happen?
careful of is 2-point conversion. That doesn't count as a pass.
I know, but quarterbacks could get hurt. You're going to have some sort of trickery. I saw a picture of Cooper Kupp throwing a pass in practice the other
I
day.
saw that too,
Yep.
but I think he
I was
was
like-
just warming up, dude.
I was like, man, if you're a gambler, man, like, never know.
They leaked that. Vegas leaked that on purpose.
Plus 175 on over 2.5 players to have a pass attempt.
What is it?
Plus 175.
Oh, dang. That's not nearly as fun as I thought.
That's pretty good, though.
I don't know if I
But
try.
I think you'd be heartbroken when you see the 2-point conversion wouldn't
Yeah.
count.
You get to like the 4th quarter, it's like, it's not going to happen now.
Yeah.
If this was,
See if-
let's say, Rams Chiefs or Rams, I don't know. Yeah, Rams Chiefs. I'll just say Rams Chiefs. Yeah, Andy Reid on one side, you got Sean McVay on the other, offensive-minded guys. I think you're more likely to see an over 2.5. 2 defensive-minded head coaches. Are they really going to go to the gadget book play? Now, obviously, look, they got Kubiak and they've got obviously for New England, Josh McDaniels here. But at the same point in time, like it's not like if they want to put a gadget in there, is McDonald going to say no, you can't do that? Is
No.
Is the other coach too, Vrabel, going to say no, you can't do that? So, but at the same point in time, they are defensive-minded head coaches, and just because of that, part of me thinks maybe less likely we're going to get a running back or a receiver or someone else throwing the football. But that's just a thought of mine. Yeah. If it was Reed and McVay, I would say for sure. Like if you're going to get two big-time offensive-minded head coaches in there, I think for sure there's more higher probability of it happening.
Can't wait to see it happen and text you right away, Trev.
Yeah, hit me.
No question. All right, we're going to wrap it up because I know we were on the clock here, but just last couple things. Winner of the game. That's all you got to say. Are you on the Seattle train, Trevor, like Davis and I, or not?
Yeah, New England feels like almost like a team of destiny for whatever reason.
Yeah.
But like,
believe me, they scare me in this game.
Somebody trying to take my lunch money. I got to make a choice here.
Yeah.
It's Seahawks. Like I can't bet against the Seahawks. They're just a better football team. But something tells me New England. I'm not a gambler, but I would probably stay away from betting either side here. If I would lean one way, it'd be Seahawks money line.
No, that's why I took money line, Trevor. I don't love the 4.5. I don't love giving up 4.5 here to New England.
New England's going to fight.
And Vrabel. Yes, absolutely. And they are a gutsy team.
But I think if they get down 10-17 early, like that's where I worry it could get to 30.
Yeah, good stuff. And I know Davis said he's on Seattle. He likes them that plus 1.5 and the under. Both of them teased in that game. All right, props. Any props you want to mention that you really like before we get on out of here?
Well, I do like the Bobo one for 5 yards for plus 220 because the value.
There you go. Actually, you know what? All the places have them listed at 0.5 receiving yards.
Yeah,
get plus
but
two.
if
All he needs is one or two.
Alternate it, if you alternate it, I think.
Yeah.
But that I'm not going to say that for Patriots. Whatever Patriots receiver that you decide to go with, I think it's worth. Because all their prices are so low, like I think the highest is Diggs at 43.5. I feel like it's worth laddering those guys, and laddering just means like whatever his line's at 43. If you go Diggs, his line's at 43. Like you take that in full, whatever your unit is, and then you sprinkle some on 50 yards, 60 yards, 70 yards, 80 yards, because you're gonna get incredible value. Like Diggs at off the top of my head at 70 is probably like plus 450 would be my guess.
Would be, probably if you laddered it.
Yeah. And then if you go like Booty, right? I think his line's like 27. If you get Sean Booty for 50 yards.
Booty rocking everywhere.
So I don't know which receiver I would go with yet. But I was just looking at their lines. Like, if the Patriots are gonna have a chance, it's gonna come from Drake May. Drake May is going to have to put that thing out there because I think they're going to focus on, their run game and make sure the Seahawks are going to focus on the Patriots run game. And like I said, make sure Drake May is the one person who's going to beat me in this game.
Yeah, I'm just seeing it now. I'll just throw a number out there at one of the books. One of the books has Steph Diggs 70 plus receiving yards plus 350.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
There you go. If you're a little more bang for your buck, you can always ladder the receivers when it comes to their props for this game. All right, great breakdown, guys. Great video breakdown.
Drake May interception.
Drake May interception.
Yep.
Okay.
My best bet would be JSN over 6.5 receiving yards, and also I really like
reception. 6.5 reception.
Yeah, sorry.
Hey, if it was 6.5 receiving yards,
I think you probably put quite a bit on that. But I would go. I also like Rashid Shaheed over 20.5 or 21.5. And then with Charbonnet being hurt, I do like the Kenneth Walker receiving yard total over.
All right. So best bet. Pick one of the props, Trevor, for best bet.
I'm going to go JSN.
Yeah. I mean, look, 6.5 receptions, and I know that Gonzalez is a damn formidable foe or foil, if you would say, for him. But like I said, I just don't know. I mean, if he's just going to get his, it feels like he's just one of those players that, like Puka. How many times do we say Puka's finally got a tough matchup and Puka's still getting you 7, 8, 9, 10 receptions and going off?
You find ways to manufacture touches for your best players in your big games.
Yeah, and it feels like Seattle might do that. So Trevor Harris's best bet there is over the 6.5 receptions for Jackson, Smith, and Jigba. And don't sleep on that JSN over 2 mentions prop that JSN has mentioned more than 2 times on the broadcast. We all kind of think that number is too low. Davis, your favorite? You mentioned the teaser, right? But if
you want me to go prop, I'm going Drake May pick.
There you go, Drake May pick. I'm going to just see what the price is on that for interception. Drake May. It would be -1, 35 -140 is what we're looking at pretty much with that. So not bad.
Not bad. Buy the juice.
Yeah. Exactly. For me, I'll just go, side or total Seattle. I know it's a minus 220 price on the money line, but I feel much more comfortable with that than laying minus 4.5 with Seattle. And my favorite prop, I think it's going to be Kenneth Walker over 19.5 receiving yards. I really do like that one. I think he gets 20 receiving yards. I think he's going to be more involved in the pass catching game. I think it's going to be tough for him to run the football against this New England defense against the run, which has been great since Milton Williams got back. So that's what I'll go with there. The best prop, Kenneth Walker for Seattle over 19.5 receiving yards. Guys, it's been great. Thanks for doing this for a couple of times here during the NFL playoffs. We appreciate it very much. Hope it's a great game. Hopefully we gave you some great advice as well. Trevor, any last words before we shut it down?
No, sir.
There you go. Nothing more to add. Davis, how about you?
Good to go, baby.
There we go. Good stuff indeed. And make sure you're able to stand up after attending that golf tournament.
Oh no, I'll be good.
No, you got to keep yourself, in like I said, no drinking when you're trying to get ready for another season. Not excessively anyway. Good stuff, guys. Awesome. I hope you all enjoyed it. Hit the like button. For Trevor Harris, for Davis Alexander, I'm Ian Cameron. It's been another NFL Super Bowl 60 preview edition of Ian Cameron's Football Frenzy.